disturbances. Starting with our top stories, tensions are soaring between India and Pakistan as they edge closer to confrontation following the deadly terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has chaired a series of high-level security meetings this week, including the powerful Cabinet Committee on Security, just days after 26 people were brutally killed in the terror attack allegedly linked to Pakistan-backed terrorists. The April 22nd attack, claimed and later disowned by the Resistance Front, has sparked outrage in New Delhi. Modi has now authorized the armed forces to choose their own time, targets and tactics in response. Indian security forces remain on high alert as Pakistan continues to violate the ceasefire. Overnight firing was reported along the line of control and the international border in multiple sectors. India responded with both the army and BSF returning fire. Internationally, the UK Parliament held urgent discussions on the Pahalgam attack. British lawmakers across party lines backed India's efforts to bring the perpetrators to justice. UK Foreign Office Minister Hamish Falconer called the attack horrific and said the UK supports India completely. Let us listen in to what Hamish Falconer had to say.
The horrific terrorist attack in Pahalgam in Indian-administered Jammu and Kashmir on the 22nd of April was devastating. Our thoughts are with those affected, their loved ones, and of course the people of India. This is a very sensitive situation with real risks to regional and wider stability. The UK condemns all forms of terrorism and the extremism that sustains it, wherever it occurs.
Meanwhile, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio is expected to speak with India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar and his Pakistani counterpart in a bid to de-escalate the situation. And in a strong statement from the United Nations, leaders there warned that a confrontation between India and Pakistan would be catastrophic not only for the region but for the world. With tensions at a boiling point, all eyes are on New Delhi's next move. All right, Group Captain MJ Augustine, former MiG-21 pilot, Indian Air Force, is joining us on the program to talk more about this. Sir, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. Well, obviously, the world is going to scramble at this point in time because, as Imran Khan also put it from jail the other day, that, this region is a nuclear flashpoint. But India is a responsible country. We have a no first use policy. But tactical nuclear bombs is something that Pakistan considers as its backbone, because when it comes to conventional war, Group Captain Augustine, Pakistan is not going to be able to sustain more than a couple of days. So the complications as well as the intricacies revolving around an India-Pakistan all-out war are something that need to be taken into their stride by the world.
Precisely. I mean, there are a couple of things that we need to understand and our viewers need to understand. Firstly, no first use, even China has no first use. No first use is actually not too good for people who are on the receiving end. Because once you use nuclear weapon against India, India reserves the right to raise you to the ground. So that is the kind of policy no first use brings on the table. No first use, Vineet, also allows India to have the triad completely ready, which means delivery from surface to surface missiles, delivery from air to surface, and delivery from nuclear submarines or submarines. So no first use is actually not a good news for Pakistan. Point number one. Point number two is the retaliation will be so severe that, Pakistan maybe in a couple of thousands of years may not be able to grow a grass or a blade of grass on their land. That is point number two. Another important aspect that we need to understand is the nuclear saber rattling is something Pakistan has been doing for a while. And I want the world to look at it. I mean, you all have phones, you can Google it. The amount of nuclear warhead as a small nation Pakistan holds is much, much more than a large nation like India. And their only small enemy is India. So why do they need to hold so many nuclear warheads? So that is a question that needs an answer. Then let's talk about Vinit, like the good question that you asked, the nuclear tactical nuclear weapon, or also called the TNW. The TNWs, use of TNWs, the first use of Indian policy says if you use TNWs against Indian troops, it will be considered as an attack on India. The counter argument by Pakistan is when India attacks Pakistan and moves into Pakistani territory, they will use TNWs in Pakistan territory. Now, Pakistan territory itself is a disputed area because the POJK, or the Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, is actually Indian territory which is illegally occupied by Pakistan, and the world knows, you don't have an international, I mean, you have an international border there which is with Pakistan, but then you also have another line called line of actual control and line of control. So these two, the line of actual control and line of control was a quasi-official line which post annulling of Simla Accord by Pakistan, that line is also completely blurred. So now the only line logically and legally that exists is the international boundary between India and Pakistan, which part of it is illegally held by Pakistan, and which India is rightful to claim its land. And there, if the tactical nuclear weapon is used against India, and it will be taken or construed as an attack against India, and India then reserves the right of retaliating with so much force that Pakistan will probably think twice. But United States, NATO, and many such countries, I was in the wargaming department for a while. We wargamed the scenario, many scenarios. There is no scenario in which Pakistan is going to use the nuclear weapon. It will only, use it as a card or a nuclear saber rattling, as we call it. It does not have a situation or a condition in which even the warhead is going to be mated with the delivery mechanism.
Right, and Group Captain Augustine,
Before
there's
that,
also been a theory.
lot of
So,
pressure
sorry
will
to
come on
interject you,
Pakistan.
sir. There's also been a theory that Pakistan is no longer, the possessor of these nuclear weapons. They are secretly guarded by American forces. So obviously, if you look at the precedents from the past as well, Pakistan has lost all wars against India, and even the ones that were not started were brokered by a third party. Do you think that a similar scenario could unfold in the future as well? Perhaps the Americans or the Chinese, coming in and trying to assuage this tension between India and Pakistan? And should India settle for it, considering that our civilians are dying?
Great question, Vinita, as usual. See, there are two aspects to the nuclear weapon. One is the conventional nuclear weapon, and rightfully American forces are guarding it because you don't want mutually assured destruction of this small blue planet in which we are living. And this is the only home we have till probably Elon Musk takes us to Mars and creates a colony there. And you cannot harm our blue planet. And rightfully, Americans are guarding those huge stockpile of nuclear weapons in Pakistan. But that is conventional nuclear weapon. Now, the tactical nuclear weapon, which has a fallout zone of 10 to 20 kilometers, is, missiles like Abdali and Raad, which is an air-launched cruise missile. They are not held with the American forces. They are held in the bases in Pakistan. So though the fallout will last longer, but it will be limited in geography. So that is something that we need to be a little wary of, firstly. And secondly, India is aware that the existence of those missiles and the locations of those missiles. So if we go on an all-out war, which I do not think we will, it will be a limited intensity conflict. If we do, we will first take out the TNWs, and then we will go out for an all-out war, is my reading of the subject. But we do not need to go out on all-out war because our aim is not to dismember Pakistan or finish the country as it is imploding itself. We don't want a country which is a ghetto next to the border. So we don't, a failed Pakistan is not in the interest of India, and India understands that. Therefore, what we need to do is remove the thorn that has been there for a couple of decades between two countries, which is Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. A reason why it is kept alive and reason why it is being tom-tommed in Pakistan is that is the only raison d'etre, as they say in French, the reason for existence of Pakistani military. Once this thorn is gone, the existence of Pakistani military and itself comes under question. So it's in the interest of Pakistan and India that the brothers of either side of the border come together and
Right, and Group
you know,
Captain
Jammu and
Augustine,
Kashmir becomes one.
Group Captain
Thorn
Augustine,
is
just
gone.
one last question, so we have a paucity of time. Just one last question before I let you go, and I request you to please keep that answer as short as possible. We have other areas to touch upon as well. You know, until just a couple of years ago, Group Captain Augustine, Pakistan was defaulting on its loans to the IMF. You know, it's a very practical question. How are they going to afford any kind of a conflict with anyone, let alone India?
Absolutely. In fact, this question, IMF has asked them many times. The loans that we are giving, you're doling it out to Pakistani military, both in terms of pension and in terms of pay. And a very small amount is used to replenish their weapons. IMF has been asking this question. People who are loaning them amount like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, are asking in your country and not spend on something which is which once you fire goes kaboom and that's it. The money is gone. Over to you.
Absolutely. Group Captain Augustine, always a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for those incisive and accurate responses. Thank you so much.